Welcome back, viewers. We have on the line right now Ghana's Minister for Tourism, Culture, and the Creative Arts, Abla Jifa Gomashi, who also happens to be related to Kobla Dumo. Abla Jifa Gomashi actually made news in Ghana when she said that Kobla Dumo was bigger or larger than Ghana. I'm sure she will explain that to us. But for now, let's go straight to Ghana, where we speak with Minister Abla Jifa Gomashi. Welcome to Sahara TV.
Thank you very much, Chrissy. And I am Deputy Minister.
Deputy
of Tourism,
Minister.
Yes, of Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts, yes.
You always have something to whip me for. Forgive me for this one too. Okay.
That's okay.
All right. Yeah. So, okay, let me ask you though. First of all, accept our condolences on the demise of your cousin. Komla is your cousin, right?
It is.
Okay. So how did the family receive the news? How was it broken, and how did they first receive it?
Thank you very much, Chrissy. I've agreed to talk to you on this matter only because of the relationship I have with you. I had decided from this afternoon not to get involved in the talk about what I have said, what I'm about to say, what I didn't say, and so on anymore. But that said, the news of the passing of Kobla Dumo, as you would imagine, was shocking, seeing that he was only 41 years old. Nobody anticipates that a young, vibrant, intelligent, affable, what have you, gentleman would just pass away day after he was seen presenting a live show. And so, as you would imagine, the shock of it is still, we're still grappling with the shock of it. I personally have not come to terms with the truth that indeed he's gone. I mean, you know that he's gone, but a part of you is not accepting it. And so I'm sure that most people in the family has the same feeling. And it's a great loss to the family, to the country and the world at large. So we're all taking it painfully, as you would imagine. But also, because we are Christians, we also are trusting that it is well with our souls, it is well with all of us.
Yes. How did you receive the news? How was it broken, though? Did the BBC contact you? Did the doctors call you?
No, no. I received the news from another uncle from the village, and also a friend of mine called to ask whether I had heard, and I said no. I'd listened to a radio discussion that suggested that something was not right, but they did not say specifically that he had passed on, and so I was just hoping that is one of these, shall I say, hoax or a dirty trick that was in place. So I didn't pay much attention to it until I got the message from my uncle to say that he thinks it is true. And subsequently it was confirmed, and then we assembled and moved to the house Sunday morning to support Prof.
Very sad.
Being a Komla's father, yeah.
Very sad indeed. But I read online somewhere that he put out some text messages in which he made reference to how pressurized he was, how much pressure he was under, and stuff like that. Did he share these frustrations with the family at all before the unfortunate incident happened?
I cannot say that any particular person in the family, immediate or extended, had mentioned to me that he was under that pressure that I also read on the internet. I suppose that even if it was discussed, it would be a very personal thing, and I'm not sure it would be proper for me to even discuss it. But the truth of the matter is that nobody mentioned to me that this was going on. What you heard is what I heard. What you read is what I read.
How about his wife and children? He survived by his wife and 3 kids. How are they taking it?
They're in London, as you know. I haven't spoken to the wife. but I spoke to a cousin of ours who is also in London, and she had mentioned that, I mean, as you would imagine, it's difficult. It's a really, really difficult time for anybody to lose their husband or any child to lose their father. I recall that I did not meet any of my paternal or maternal grandfathers, but I met the women, my maternal and paternal grandmothers. And even though they were old, the shock of their death still lingers on. And this happened when I was in secondary school when they passed on. Every now and again, I remember something they used to do, and it brings sadness to my heart. Not too long ago, we lost an uncle, Kofi Ashibwa Mensah, who we buried in Aflau. And every now and again, I think about him, and this sense of doom just lingers around you. And so I think that for a younger person to pass on like that, the pain will even be more than what. Yeah. So it's just not a nice feeling to think of Komla as dead. You know, there's such a finality to death that brings a sense of helplessness. And personally, that's what I feel right now. So I can only imagine what the poor woman is going through right now in London. And my heart goes out to her. She's in my thoughts and prayers. And I hope that people who are listening will keep her in their prayers as well. And let's see what the good Lord will do with us all.
And the kids too. But anyways,
and the kids too, yes.
Yep. We also heard somewhere that the family has issued a statement that his body will be sent to Ghana for interment.
Yes.
Can you share with us, if it's okay with you, any arrangements that may have been put in place for this arrangement? I mean, for his interment.
No, we were in a meeting in the house a couple of days ago. And the fact that he will be brought to Ghana was mentioned. But as I speak to you now, nothing is final. The family is still talking, but that he will be brought here seems to be the general consensus that he should be brought home. You know, Kobla is a chief also.
Oh, yes.
He was installed, yes. He was installed some years ago. And by tradition, I'm speaking my language to you now. You cannot leave the remains of your chief in another land. So, so with that tradition in mind, I am sure that family and the elders of the family will be guided by it. And so I'm very positive that he'll be brought here to Ghana.
Okay. Now, you as a minister of state, let me ask you this: people are asking for a state funeral for Komla, and would you be able to tell us if anything like that is in the pipeline as minister of state?
I do not know. The family has not officially announced the death to the hierarchy of government.
Yeah.
So it will be difficult to say anything on behalf of the state or on behalf of the government right now until the family has done the proper thing of going to announce the death of our beloved. I do not think that anybody in government will be able to say, unless the president says it himself. I cannot say anything on behalf of government until we have done what we have to do. So, which is sometimes this week that information will get to the presidency, but until that is done, we shouldn't speculate.
Okay, even though.
But indeed, I have heard many people asking that. Well, not many, but I've heard people asking that he be given a state burial or something of the sort.
Yeah.
I think that it's an understanding or appreciation of what he had come to mean to the people of this country, and it's just people's way of expressing how highly they thought of him. And so there's nothing wrong with thinking aloud and wishing that will happen to him. But I will quickly add that should be left in the hands of government and of course the family. These are senior people than myself, and so I'll leave it for them to come to terms with.
Okay. But even though it's not been announced officially, I can confirm that President Mahama paid a glowing tribute to him on BBC. And
yes, he did.
we're all touched by that. Okay, now to a question that I've been yearning to ask you, Minister. You have taken a lot of bashing lately in the press by for saying that Komla was larger than Ghana. What exactly did you mean by that?
Chrissy, I think that this bashing has just bounced off the wall and didn't really scratch anything around me. It's just okay for people to express their feelings also about what I have said, but that does not change the fact that it was not a government policy that I suggested. What I said was in context, and so for some part of it to be lifted for people to run with, it's perfectly okay with me. I mean, who will stop me from expressing my opinion? Someone thinks that, for example, that, and I hope that they'll forgive me, Michael Essien is the best footballer, or what other name is there in Ghana? I'm not a football fan, but I watch it. Like another person will say, well, someone is even better, or someone will say, what does that do? Does that stop the sun from rising or stop it from setting? These are just expressions of people's emotions. Depending on what it is that you're feeling, you can suggest that he be given a state burial. Or you can suggest that, but he was just, somebody else also worked, Malo worked at BBC, Elizabeth Ohini worked at BBC. Why are you asking for him to get a state burial? And that's okay. But in any case, the journalist was asking me how we expect people to mourn him. And I said, well, this is not something one cannot tell anybody how they should mourn Komla. However you feel towards him, whatever he meant to you, use that emotion to mourn him, to get purgation, to get healing for yourself. Komla is not, what shall I say, he's not without a following. He has a huge following. For many young people, either in the media or out of it, he stood for something. He had done so well for himself. Remember when he was honored as Journalist of the Year? Yep. Even the nomination, the hue and cry that happened in this country, you have no idea. And that same thing is happening in his death. I mean, that's large.
Yeah. But what exactly did you mean, though? Do you want to explain what exactly you meant by saying that he was larger than Ghana? Maybe this will help people to understand what exactly you meant by saying that.
Well, first of all, I do not think that I owe anybody an explanation, really, because I was just expressing myself the way I felt, and it was within a sentence. Perhaps if you ask the paper for the benefit of your listeners, then I won't have to be having to explain myself. The questions that were coming was not to say that, and the answer did not mean that, what, is it geographically that he's bigger than Ghana or whatever. We're talking about the profession. We're talking about what he has done with his life. The platform on which he has found himself, how he had worked hard to be where he was, and how every country that has BBC in it had Komla demonstrated. Isn't that big? Isn't that large?
It definitely is big. It definitely is big. And on your Facebook,
country,
on your Facebook page, one of the comments that you made actually was that it was not Ghana like as a country that he was bigger than, but it was that he had grown like
in stature.
He had matured enough to go beyond Ghana to do what he had to do. So anyway, thank you very much. But finally,
let those who want to argue about that, argue about it. But the truth is that if you live in wherever in this world and there's BBC and you see Komla Dumor on television, then he's gone out of Ghana, has he not?
He has.
So let those who want to argue about it, argue about it. Okay. And I think that we should live and let live. We should allow people to express themselves there. This should not bring a war into our country. This should not take away the fact that he did well for himself. being a science student who came into the arts and found himself in journalism in Ghana. And before we could say Jack, he was on that platform and celebrating Africa to the best of his ability. I mean, the comment should not take away the fact that he was able to achieve all of this.
Okay, Minister.
And so it's okay with me, really, that people are talking about it. It really is okay.
Okay, very finally, can you please answer this in about 30 seconds because my time is up? What would you say was his biggest legacy to Ghana, especially to the journalism, to the Inky fraternity?
I think that not just the Inky fraternity, but also that whatever you put your mind to, you can be. And if you allow yourself to train yourself, if you train yourself and you allow yourself to blossom and learn and let the lessons of life teach you, you can be anything that you put your mind to. And whatever space you find yourself in, think of it as your ticket to be an ambassador for our country. And I think that he exemplified that, and it will be wonderful if you all learn something small out of this young fellow who has, I mean young as because I'm older than him, but this gentleman who has passed on, that he did what he did to the best of his ability and used that platform to celebrate his Ghanaianness, to celebrate his Africanness, and use that platform to be a window for those who did not know Ghana well enough or Africa well enough to learn from it, and also to change the status quo, the perception of Africa and Ghana around the world. He wanted people to see Africa and Ghana through the eyes of an indigene, through the eyes of one who belonged to the continent. And so I hope that people will learn and use the platforms that we have for the benefits of humanity and for Africa and Ghana.
Deputy Minister Abla Jifa-Gomashi, we appreciate your time so much. Thank you very much.
The pleasure is mine.
Okay, viewers, that was Deputy Minister for Tourism, Culture and the Creative Arts, Abla Jifa-Gomashi, a cousin of Komla Dumor. Komla Dumor actually went to school in Nigeria, but he quit somewhere along the line to come back to Ghana to pursue a totally different course. He was studying medicine, but he switched courses, and look what he became. Thanks for watching. There's more to come on this platform. Stay tuned.